So if you haven't met me, my name is Katherine and I'm a 10X certified business coach. And I was just thinking today, one of the things that when you look at your life and you look at all of the things in your life that have affected different areas of your life, one of the things that I would like to encourage you is I was looking at this wheel that Grant shows us all the time. You've seen it all over social media, everywhere. And it talks about an idea, attention, lead magnet management, sales, money management, and scale. So I've thought about how is it that my life and my story has affected every time I've had to go into literally this area of having to figure out that circle again. So one of the very first things, obviously, some of you have heard the story when I was 10 and we had a house fire. We lost everything. The effects on that moment was probably one of the biggest gifts in my life because of the reaction that my parents had. Because when I stood there in that room and I just said, we've lost everything, I was heartbroken. And my parents were like, oh, no, that's just stuff. Stuff, you can get more stuff. We are all here. We are fine. Our family is still together. That mindset itself was probably the best gift because why? When life has continued to happen, I've had to be extremely creative and I've had to actually be able to overcome. Many of you have had situations in your life where you've had to take a pivot. And so there have been many pivots along my journey. And one of the very first pivots that I had to endure was being in a place of having been pregnant. I was pregnant with our second child and I was in a situation where I had to make new choices. I couldn't afford to, because I was going to be single, I had to then figure out how I was going to pay for daycare because I couldn't afford 2 children going to daycare. And so while I was on bed rest, I started to think of the idea, right? Kathy's Kids was born that day. As I was trying to navigate how I was going to raise my children as a single mom, I went ahead and thought, I will just take care of other people's children. And I created the company, Kathy's Kids. And this was something that was so incredibly different because I needed to raise my children, be with my children, but also make money. And so how do I do that? Well, one of the things that I do is nurturing is just part of my innate being. I love children and I know that they are our future. And so I decided to take this idea and now get myself registered as a childcare provider in New Jersey. And when I did that, I then had to go through this whole sales cycle, which I had to get attention. And I got attention everywhere I went. I just handed out business cards and handed out flyers and told people about what I did. And guess what? It got to the point where what I did is I'm doing getting the attention, right? And then I had the leads. Now I had to manage those leads, all right? So now I'm managing leads. And then I had to do the same thing as now I have to manage the money. So now we're earning income. So now we're going to manage the money. And then I was in the point of wanting to grow it. But what happened? Texas Eastern Pipeline explosion happened. And now our life changes again. And so now we have to pivot. So now I have to pivot to another part of my life. And guess what? Each time I've had to go through the same thing. So through that process, I then have to move to Maryland. And now I am working with a chiropractor. And I literally started off just random doing these booths and I was given the tools and said, okay, go to it. And the person walked away and was just like, you know what to do. And had to start doing the same thing. I had to go back to getting attention, getting leads, working at managing those leads. And guess what? I learned how to just get out of my own way and talk to people. Just tell them what I did. Tell them how we can help them get out of pain. Well, that led to then going through a divorce and having to be a single mom again. And so now at that point, I'm like, okay, now what do I do? Well, I moved to another office where I now am having to take this office, give a proposal and say, this is what I can do for you. And so I had to do the same thing again. I came up with an idea. And in that idea was born, how do I help this business grow and scale? Well, again, it was another idea. And from there, what was the target? So I took that target and I said, okay, how do we get attention? How do we get leads? How do we get people that I can get in front of to show them how they could come in and they could get out of pain? Well, we were able to take that office. So I started out, it was one chiropractor and the other one had worked with me at the other location. So he told the other chiropractor about me. So now we take it from a 2-chiro office and we change it into a multidisciplinary facility because of all of the attention, the leads, working the leads. And what happens? Grows into a large multidisciplinary facility. Why? Because it was nurturing relationships in the community, going out and literally being with the people in the community, doing community events, doing dinners, doing lunches, literally getting out into that community and telling everyone how we can help them, how we can help their patients, how we can help them get out of pain. And so through that, we were able to grow that and scale it. Went from there, then what we did was we took that office and spun off and then did a gym. So along with marketing this, we had to market a gym to help people. Now we get them out of pain and now we make them healthy. How do we make them healthy? Well, they need a workout program. They need a nutrition plan. They need to be able to do boot camps with me. So then we were doing boot camps morning and night. So again, why did that happen? So now I have a child that's getting ready to go to college. And I'm thinking, oh my, as a single mom, I want him to be able to go to college, right? So how do I do that? Well, I have to come up with another plan because we need more income. So the target grows. When the target grows, you have to do something different. So then at that point, I had been doing Mary Kay all along. So I basically, I was just a purchaser, but then what I did was in here, I actually started to sell in the direct marketing industry, along with doing a full-time job, and then along with doing the gym. And then that's where I decided, you know what? This was direct sales because I could literally take charge of how much money I was making. And the sky was the limit. Like there were no limits. So I was able to take this and build teams. So I built teams. I grew, I was in the Queen's Court of Sales, earned cars and trips and things like that. So when I think about my life, I think about everything started with an idea, getting attention, getting the leads, managing the leads, then managing the money, and then scaling it. So every single, when we were here, we scaled to the gym, then we scaled to becoming a Mary Kay sales director. And through that journey, I realized that every single time that I've been up against a wall is when a new idea is born. And then I decide, okay, this wheel works. It works. Why? Because one of the things that you have to realize is that it's always an idea, but now you have to take action. And that's where massive action comes in. Because remember, the 4 degrees of action is literally taking no action at all. Then there's taking normal levels of action. And then there's retreating and pulling back on those actions. But then there's massive action. And I want you to think about what it's like with a diamond. If the diamond was not compressed and put pressure on it, all of us in life, we've had moments in our lives where we've had pressure. If you are a business owner and you are under pressure to actually every single day, you have to produce, you have to go out, you have to do what is it that you are doing. You're going back to the idea and the target. That should be the number one thing you always think of, because through that, the journey continues. And I've been able to scale as a daycare provider in the chiropractic industry and helping the office to grow and scale, then growing a gym and its membership and, and just being able to work with the people. And then in the direct sales industry, and now as a 10X certified business coach. And what I love about this is I now get to take everything that's happened from this first moment in time and how my parents reacted and taught us how to have the mindset that no matter what happened in your life, there's a solution to everything. Well, I would love to help you in the solutions in your business, because scaling is all the same. So as a 10X certified business coach, targets, but then you have to have a trackable metrics. And I want to be able to walk alongside you and help to make it a shorter amount of time. Instead of you having to learn everything the way that I did the hard way, I want to be able to walk alongside with you and teach you, guide you, be your mentor and support you. Because I will tell you something, I didn't do all of this without mentors, really good mentors, studying, workshops, and events. If you are someone who just wants someone to mentor them, who wants someone to walk alongside them, I would love for you to connect with me. I would love for you to hit the link below or go to my rocketgrowthba.com. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side.